It's the 1970s in Australia. You're driving down a sunny highway when suddenly a car that looks like it's from the future zooms past. Its whole roof opens up like a spaceship. That's the Purvis Eureka, a car so different it's hard to believe it's real. Our story begins in 1971, when an Australian businessman named Alan Purvis embarked on a trip to the United Kingdom. Purvis wasn't just another tourist. He was a man with a vision, searching for business opportunities that could make waves back home in Australia. Little did he know that his journey would lead to the creation of one of Australia's most distinctive automobiles. During his time in the UK, Purvis stumbled upon a curious vehicle called the Nova. This wasn't your average car, it was a kit car, a do-it-yourself project that allowed enthusiasts to purchase the body and chassis separately and assemble the vehicle themselves. The Nova's futuristic design and affordable build had already made it popular among British car enthusiasts. Purvis saw potential in this unique concept. He understood that back in Australia, there was a growing culture of DIY car enthusiasts who would jump at the chance to build their own vehicle. With this in mind, he negotiated the rights to manufacture and sell the car in Australia and New Zealand. But Purvis knew that simply importing the Nova wouldn't be enough. To succeed in the Australian market, the car needed a new identity, a name that would resonate with the Australian spirit. Drawing inspiration from a significant event in Australian history, the Eureka Stockade, Purvis decided to christen his new venture the Purvis Eureka. The Eureka Stockade was a rebellion led by gold miners in Ballarat, Victoria, in 1854. It was a defining moment in Australian history, symbolizing the fight for rights and a fair go. By naming his car after this event, Purvis was making a bold statement. He wasn't just introducing a new vehicle, he was launching a revolution in the Australian automotive industry. To further cement this connection, Purvis adopted the Eureka flag as the logo for his car company. The blue and white Southern Cross of the Eureka flag became a symbol of the rebellious spirit embodied in this unique automobile. The Purvis Eureka made its grand debut at the 1974 Melbourne International Motor Show. Its unveiling was nothing short of sensational. The car's sleek, wedge-shaped body turned heads, but it was the unique canopy-style roof that really stole the show. Unlike traditional cars with their conventional doors, the Eureka's entire roof section opened forward, giving the car a distinctly spaceship-like appearance. This futuristic design wasn't just for show. The Purvis Eureka's body was made entirely of fiberglass, making it incredibly lightweight. This innovative use of materials allowed the car to deliver impressive performance even with relatively small engines. The comparison to the Holden Hurricane, a concept car shown in 1968, was inevitable. Both vehicles sported a wedge-shaped body and eschewed traditional doors in favor of a forward-opening canopy. But the Purvis Eureka wasn't just about looks. Its design was also practical, in a way that appealed to the DIY crowd. The car was designed to be built on the chassis of a Volkswagen Beetle, a car that was widely available and well known for its reliability. This design decision was crucial, as it kept production costs low and made the Eureka an affordable option for sports car enthusiasts. The use of the Volkswagen Beetle as a base wasn't just about cost-cutting. It also gave the Eureka some unique characteristics. The Beetle's rear-engine layout meant that the Eureka had an unusual weight distribution. This feature would later become both a point of praise and criticism among drivers and automotive journalists. Under the hood, or rather behind the seats, the Purvis Eureka typically housed an air-cooled Volkswagen flat-4 engine. While not particularly powerful, this engine was known for its reliability, and thanks to the car's lightweight fiberglass body, the modest horsepower was more than adequate for spirited driving. For those who craved more power, Purvis offered alternatives. One popular option was to install a Ford 4-cylinder engine, which provided a significant boost in performance. Some particularly adventurous Eureka owners even went as far as fitting their cars with Mazda rotary engines. These modifications turned the already nimble Eureka into a veritable rocket, though the added power could make the rear-heavy car challenging to control. Inside, the Purvis Eureka was a study in minimalism. The dashboard was simple, featuring only the most essential gauges for speed, fuel, and engine temperature. This stripped-down interior wasn't about cutting corners. Rather, it reflected the Eureka's focus on the pure driving experience. It was a car that prioritized the thrill of the open road over luxury amenities. As production continued, the Purvis Eureka evolved. The first major update came in 1975 with the introduction of the PL30 model. This version addressed some of the criticisms of the original design, particularly regarding interior space. The roofline was raised to provide more headroom, a welcome change for taller drivers who had found the original Eureka a bit cramped. The PL30 also featured a larger dashboard, allowing for the inclusion of more gauges and controls. The taillights were improved, enhancing both the car's appearance and its visibility on the road. But perhaps the most impressive upgrade was the introduction of an automatic canopy. With the push of a button, drivers could now open or close the Eureka's distinctive roof. In 1976, Purvis unveiled the F4, the final major iteration of the Eureka. This model further refined the car's styling, introducing round headlights and larger air ducts for improved engine cooling. A new Targa top option was introduced, allowing drivers to enjoy open-air motoring without compromising the structural integrity provided by the car's unique canopy design. The F4 also sported a rear spoiler, a nod to the increasing focus on aerodynamics in automotive design during the late 1970s. Despite these updates, the Purvis Eureka remained true to its roots. It continued to use the Volkswagen Beetle chassis and engine options, maintaining the car's accessibility for DIY enthusiasts. This consistency was one of the keys to the Eureka's enduring appeal among kit car aficionados. The Purvis Eureka's unique design and DIY nature made it particularly attractive in Australia's automotive market of the 1970s and 1980s. By assembling the car themselves, buyers could avoid the high sales taxes imposed on fully built vehicles. This financial incentive, combined with the satisfaction of building one's own sports car, helped drive the Eureka's popularity. Production of the Purvis Eureka continued until 1991, spanning nearly 2 decades. During this time, a total of 683 Eurekas were produced. While this number might seem small compared to mass-produced vehicles, it represents a significant achievement for a specialized kit car. Today, the Purvis Eureka is a rare sight on Australian roads. Those that remain are cherished by collectors and enthusiasts who appreciate the car's unique design and the story behind it. Each surviving Eureka is a testament to the vision of Alan Purvis and the dedication of the DIY builders who brought these cars to life. The story of the Purvis Eureka is more than just the tale of an unusual car. It's a narrative that embodies the Australian spirit of innovation and the have-a-go attitude. The Purvis Eureka may not have changed the course of automotive history, but it left an indelible mark on the Australian car scene.